What's up, everybody? I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMoviescreens.com, and I got another movie from the coverage of the Dallas International Film Festival of 2018. It's been quite a ride so far, but this is the fifth movie that I saw, and this one is called Zama, and this one is a foreign film, primarily from Argentina, and yes, there are subtitles, and it's spoken in Argentinese. I'm just kidding, it's Spanish, but I had no idea what this movie was going into it. But, I decided to take a chance on it because I was lazy and didn't want to make my own schedule to the festival and just basically went off whatever my co-host wanted to watch. And so I wanted to give this a shot because if he chose it, I trust his taste. And, I saw it and, I can appreciate the artistry within the movie. It's just a movie that's not for me. So let me try to explain myself before I begin. Let me tell you a little bit about the plot. So we have a person named Diego de Zama. There's your pronunciation for you. A Spanish officer of the 17th century settled in a country that I cannot pronounce, who awaits his transfer to Buenos Aires. And that is pretty much a basic plot. There's a lot more to that. It deals with a lot of different social structures in the 1700s. It takes more of a kind of more ridiculous approach to it because it's kind of spun in this kind of subtle, dry humor type of, style. And so I appreciate its kind of like ballsiness to kind of go in that direction and make something kind of unique. Especially, this is probably one of the more unique ones I would probably see at the festival, but it just didn't really strike for me. So let's get real and break this down. Let me explain myself. So I'm going to start with some of the negatives first because I do think this is a positive movie, just once again, not for me. So I think some of the negatives that really kind of held me back a little bit, I got to start with the pacing. This movie's slow. It really is. It takes a while for it to get into the motion of the story. It takes a good 20, 25 minutes before anything starts to really happen. It does take its sweet time, but there is an upside to that. It allows you to soak in the wonderful, vibrant visuals of the, beautiful, symmetrical cinematography and the costumes and the production design. So there is a lot to be said about the kind of slow pace of it, but it does take a while to get started. And I did get bored a couple times throughout, and it took me a while to fully immerse myself into the movie. I don't even think I fully immersed myself into the end credits. It took me a full 2 hours to realize I couldn't get into it. And that's probably my biggest issue with the movie is that if this is not your style of movie, you're probably not going to like it. I can appreciate it for its technical aspects, but for me, the story did not work. I was never fully engaged. I was never fully emotionally attached to these characters. I never felt this connection. I was probably one of the few people in the audience that had this disconnect, and I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was because it was the first movie I saw throughout the day or what it was, but I just never fully got into it. And I don't know if it's because it was because of the pacing, or if it took forever to get into the story, or if it was kind of abstract in some scenes. I didn't know what was going on. I have no idea what it was. Maybe I'm just dumb. I probably am, but in terms of this movie, it really did not have that connection with me. So I don't know what the disconnect was, but it is what it is. So moving on to the positives now. Technically, cinematography is gorgeous, and it matches really well with the kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean-esque costume design and production design, but it's definitely on a more higher artistic quality than Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm not saying that, but if you want to get a sense of the clothing and stuff, that's what it was kind of like. And I really liked it. It had this Wes Anderson symmetrical look to it, where everything was precisely placed, everything was accurately framed, and the director really wanted you to focus on certain things throughout the frame. So characters are placed accordingly, so your eye can be drawn to what the director wants you to see. And I always appreciate that, because those types of movies take time, and they take a lot of effort to precisely shoot those things and make it how you want to. And you're not just moving the camera around for no apparent reason. There is a purpose to it. And also, like I said, the actual vibrancy of the movie with its color scheme and its costumes and its production design, it looks authentic. It looks like you're really set in this time frame, and I have to give them credit for that. So on a visual level, this movie is actually pretty great. And there are actually some parts in the story that I was acknowledging when I was listening to, but I just never got into. But I there were a couple scenes where I was like, you know what, that was pretty interesting, and then it would just cut and move on to something else, and it didn't really have any time for me to absorb anything. I think that's where I felt the disconnect a little bit. But believe it or not, I will recommend this movie because if you like, as my co-host put it, like Terry Gilliam movies, which I am not accustomed to because I don't think I've seen any of his movies, but I am aware of his style. It's kind of along those lines, and if you like those type of movies, you'll probably like this one. This one isn't for me, but I will recommend it though. That's what's weird about it. But I'm gonna give a Zama a B-. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say because I really just never got into it, so I can't really passionately talk about it. So that will do it for this review, guys. I'm Chase Lee, and tune in next time for more coverage of the 2018 Dallas International Film Festival, and I will see you guys later.